Marcus wiped the sweat from his brow as he crouched behind the scorched remains of what had once been a transport vehicle. The air on Varela 9 was heavy with the stench of smoke and burned metal. Explosions echoed in the distance as alien warships hovered above the jungle canopy, scanning the planet for survivors. Humanity's war against the Narithi Empire had reached a brutal stalemate, and every day felt like a gamble with death. He checked his weapon, a plasma rifle he had carried through countless battles, and exhaled slowly. His squad had been wiped out days ago, leaving him alone to navigate the jungle toward the coordinates given by command. They had told him it was a high-priority mission: secure a hidden alien estate and claim it for the Galactic Alliance. Marcus had followed orders without hesitation, but the idea of inheriting anything from a Narithi noble felt strange. Humans did not usually inherit alien holdings, let alone estates preserved for centuries. As he pushed through thick vines, Marcus caught sight of something unusual. The jungle suddenly opened into a clearing, and there, untouched by war, stood an enormous mansion made of shimmering metallic panels, glowing faintly under Varela 9's twin suns. It seemed impossible that such a place had survived the Narithi's own destruction campaigns. He approached cautiously, scanning for traps or enemies. The estate gates slid open silently at his presence, as if expecting him. Inside, the air was cool, filled with the faint scent of exotic flowers growing in gardens maintained by unknown technology. It was surreal, a stark contrast to the chaos of the battlefield outside. A soft voice startled him. "Who are you?" Marcus froze. From the shadows emerged a tall, elegant alien woman, with violet skin and eyes that shimmered like molten silver. Her hair flowed like liquid, and her movements were deliberate and graceful. She was clearly young, though her presence carried authority and intelligence. I'm Marcus," he said carefully. "I'm here by order of the Galactic Alliance." The alien's eyes narrowed. "Marcus," she repeated, her voice smooth but tinged with suspicion. "I am Leora. This place, it belonged to my master." "Why are you here?" Marcus swallowed. He had been prepared for hostile forces, but not for conversation with someone like her. "I've been assigned to inherit this estate. The previous owner, he died, and command says it passes to me." Leora's expression shifted slightly, a flicker of disbelief crossing her features. "Inherit?" she whispered. "You, a human, inherit what belongs to a Narithi noble?" Marcus shrugged, trying to stay calm. "It's intergalactic law. I didn't choose it, but it's my duty now." Leora's eyes softened, though only briefly. She stepped closer, studying him with a mixture of curiosity and caution. "You have not yet earned my trust, human," she said. "I will not follow orders blindly. If you wish to command this estate, you must prove you are capable, intelligent, and honorable." Marcus felt a flicker of frustration. He had fought countless battles, led men into impossible situations, and survived when others had not. Yet here was a young alien girl questioning him, challenging him in a way he had not expected. Still, he knew she was right. To manage this estate and protect it from enemies, he would need her knowledge. The first days were tense. Marcus learned quickly that the estate was more than it appeared. Rooms filled with alien technology hummed with energy, gardens held plants that could heal or poison depending on use, and storage chambers contained weapons and devices beyond human comprehension. Leora guided him carefully, explaining protocols and warning him of traps left by the previous owner. She was sharp, demanding, and unyielding. "You must understand," she said one evening as they repaired a broken control panel. "This estate is a symbol. Many factions would kill to claim it. If you do not learn quickly, you will die. Do not make mistakes out of pride." Marcus nodded, wiping grime from his face. "I've survived wars," he said, trying to assert confidence. "I can handle threats. But I'll need your help if I'm going to keep this place safe." Leora tilted her head, studying him. "Perhaps you are not like the other humans I have seen. You may have the capacity to think beyond the battlefield." As the days passed, Marcus began to understand Leora's world. She had been trained in diplomacy, espionage, and advanced technology. Her mind was a weapon as much as any rifle he had carried. He found himself relying on her, not just to survive, but to navigate the complex politics of alien factions still active across Varela 9. One night, as Marcus patrolled the perimeter, the sky lit up with explosions. Scout ships from a rival faction had detected the estate and were moving in. He radioed Leora, who responded calmly, her voice like steel. They approach from the east. Their weapons are crude but effective. We must act quickly. Marcus followed her instructions. She directed him to reposition automated turrets, seal certain passages, and use the estate's energy shields in a way he would never have considered. Together, they created a defensive strategy that turned the estate into a fortress overnight. When the attackers arrived, Marcus could see their confusion. The estate seemed almost alive, responding to every move with precision. Leora's calm guidance and Marcus's human intuition created a synergy that surprised even him. They managed to repel the first wave of intruders without a single casualty inside the estate. After the battle, Marcus looked at Leora differently. She was no longer just an alien asset or heirloom of a dead noble. She was a partner, someone whose intelligence, courage, and resourcefulness could rival any human or alien soldier he had ever met. "You fought well," she said quietly, standing beside him on the balcony as dawn broke over the jungle. "You are not reckless and you are willing to learn. Perhaps you are worthy of this place." Marcus smiled faintly, feeling a weight lift from his shoulders. "And you?" he asked. "Are you ready to trust me?" Leora's eyes met his, and for the first time there was no suspicion, only calculation, curiosity, and a spark of something unspoken. "We will see," she said. That evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Marcus could hear the faint hum of alien machinery in the estate. Somewhere deep within, he sensed secrets yet to be uncovered, secrets that could turn the tide of the Galactic War, or destroy them both if they were careless. Days passed, and the estate became their domain. Marcus learned to navigate alien protocols, and Leora began to appreciate the human soldier's adaptability. They argued, strategized, and sometimes laughed at the absurdities of combining human and Nerithi methods. Slowly, a fragile alliance formed. Then came the unexpected challenge. A reconnaissance drone from a distant enemy faction approached silently, invisible to Marcus's scanners. Leora spotted it first, her eyes narrowing as she assessed the threat. With a flick of her hand, she activated a defense system Marcus had not noticed. A pulse of energy disabled the drone midair, dropping it harmlessly to the ground. Marcus looked at her in awe. "You knew it was coming?" he asked. "I anticipated it," she replied, her tone calm. "If you are to survive in this galaxy, human, you must learn to anticipate, not just react." That night, Marcus lay on a bunk inside the estate reflecting on the past week. He had fought enemies in countless worlds, yet none had tested him like this young alien. Her intelligence, courage, and calm under pressure were unlike anything he had experienced. He realized something else. The war outside was vast, but here, in this estate, he had a purpose beyond mere survival. He had a chance to learn, to grow, and perhaps even to bridge the gap between humans and the Nerithi. The next morning, Marcus awoke to a quiet knock at the door. Leora entered, carrying a small device that looked like a tablet fused with crystalline alien metal. "I believe it is time you learn the deeper secrets of this estate," she said. "But you must be willing to follow instructions without question. One mistake could cost us everything." Marcus nodded, feeling both excitement and apprehension. "I'm ready," he said. As Leora led him deeper into the mansion's hidden chambers, Marcus realized that inheriting the estate was not just a matter of law. It was a challenge, a responsibility, and perhaps the start of something greater than he could have imagined. And somewhere beyond the walls of the estate, distant warships moved, unaware that a new alliance had formed, one that might change the course of the galaxy. Marcus tightened his grip on his rifle, and together with Leora, he stepped into the unknown. The morning sun glinted off the metallic walls of the estate as Marcus and Leora stood over a holographic map, projecting from the crystalline device she had given him. The map highlighted enemy movements across Varela 9, showing clusters of Nerithi patrols and unknown mercenary factions converging on the estate. Marcus studied the lines and dots, trying to process the complexity of alien strategy. "This estate is more than a home," Leora said, her voice calm but firm. "It is a command center, a weapon, and a sanctuary. Every system here can be used to defend or attack. If we understand it fully, we can influence the course of the war itself." Marcus nodded, absorbing her words. The responsibility was enormous, yet he felt a spark of excitement. This was different from battlefield survival. Here, intelligence, timing, and trust mattered as much as courage and strength. Their routine quickly became intense. Each day Marcus trained with Leora, learning alien tactics, technology, and history. She tested him relentlessly, pushing him to anticipate threats before they appeared, to think like a Narithi commander, not just a human soldier. "You must learn to predict the enemy's mind," she told him one afternoon. "Humans are direct. Narithi are patient, calculating, and often cruel. If you act without understanding, you will die." Marcus followed her lessons with determination. He discovered Leora's intelligence extended far beyond military strategy. She could analyze alien communications, interpret signals, and even manipulate energy fields that powered the estate's defenses. Slowly, he realized that her skills were as formidable as his combat experience, if not more so. Their bond began to grow. Marcus found himself respecting her not as someone he inherited, but as a partner, someone whose insight he could not ignore. Leora, in turn, started to trust him, appreciating his courage, resourcefulness, and his willingness to learn. For the first time, she considered humans not just as invaders, but as allies capable of greatness. Then came the attack. Sensors alerted them to multiple ships approaching from different directions. Marcus's heart pounded as he activated the estate's defenses. Leora moved with calm precision, orchestrating automated turrets, energy shields, and defensive drones. Marcus coordinated human soldiers he had called in from a nearby outpost, integrating their firepower with Leora's systems. The first wave of enemy fighters swooped in, their weapons blazing. Marcus ducked behind cover, returning fire while directing soldiers. Leora guided him from a holographic interface, her fingers moving over the crystal panels, sending commands that reshaped the estate's defenses in real time. A larger Narithi cruiser emerged from the clouds, its energy cannons aimed directly at the mansion. Marcus felt a surge of tension but did not panic. He remembered Leora's words: anticipate, adapt, survive. Together they devised a plan to channel the cruiser's energy beams into the surrounding mountains, creating a feedback loop that would disable its weapons. The maneuver was risky. One miscalculation and the cruiser could destroy the estate. Marcus moved into the control room with Leora, working as a synchronized team. He monitored the energy channels while she recalibrated the field generators. Sweat poured down his face, but he trusted her instructions completely. The beams struck the mountains with controlled precision. The cruiser's weapons overloaded, and with a loud explosion, it spiraled out of control, crashing into a nearby canyon. The enemy fighter ships retreated, and silence fell over the estate. Marcus exhaled deeply, glancing at Leora. She was calm, but a small smile tugged at her lips. "You performed well," she said quietly. "You did not hesitate when it mattered most." "And you," Marcus replied, smiling in return. "You saved the estate, and probably my life." That night after the battle, they walked through the gardens. The stars shimmered above, and for a moment the war seemed distant. Marcus realized that this place, this partnership, was more than inheritance. It was a chance to create something lasting. "You know," he said, "I thought inheriting this estate would be a burden, but it feels like opportunity, not just for me, but for both of us." Leora regarded him with a thoughtful expression. "You are learning quickly, human. Perhaps this inheritance was never meant to be about property or wealth. It may be about potential. What you do here could influence the fate of many worlds." The following weeks were filled with preparation. Leora taught Marcus how to maintain the estate's technology, interpret alien intelligence reports, and even negotiate with minor factions seeking shelter. Marcus grew confident, combining human ingenuity with Leora's alien expertise. They began conducting joint operations, sending reconnaissance teams into the jungle and beyond, gathering information that could turn the tide of the war. One day, a messenger arrived from a nearby human command post. The transmission revealed a disturbing truth. A coalition of Narithi warlords was uniting, planning a massive assault on Varela 9. The estate, with its strategic location and advanced defenses, was now a critical target. Marcus and Leora convened immediately. "We cannot let them take this place," Marcus said. "It is the key to our position on this planet, and we can use it to help others, humans and aliens alike." Leora nodded. "Agreed, but we must act wisely. Their strength is great and their tactics are unpredictable. We need more than brute force. We need strategy, cunning, and courage, all three together." For the next days, they worked tirelessly, reinforcing defenses, setting traps, and training the soldiers. Marcus found himself marveling at Leora's foresight. She anticipated every possible scenario, always staying 3 steps ahead. He realized that their success depended not only on their strength, but on their partnership. Finally, the day of the main assault arrived. The sky darkened with hundreds of enemy ships and ground forces surged through the jungle. Marcus led the human soldiers while Leora coordinated the estate's automated defenses. The battle was intense. Energy beams and explosions lit the sky. Enemy troops advanced relentlessly, but Marcus and Leora fought as one. She directed him to weak points in the enemy formation, and he used that knowledge to deploy counterattacks that disrupted the assault. At a critical moment, Leora used an advanced device to create a temporary cloaking field, hiding a flank of human soldiers. They emerged behind the enemy, striking decisively. Marcus saw the surprise and panic among the attackers, and he pressed the advantage, leading his troops with precision. Hours passed in a blur of strategy and combat. Slowly, the enemy forces began to retreat, their assault broken. Marcus and Leora stood amid the quiet ruins of the battlefield, breathing heavily but victorious. "You did it," Marcus said, looking at her. "We did it." Leora nodded, her silver eyes gleaming. "Yes, together. You are more than a soldier, Marcus. You are a partner, a leader, and perhaps more than I expected." For the first time, Marcus understood the depth of their bond. This was no longer about inheritance, duty, or survival. It was about trust, respect, and shared purpose. They had faced overwhelming odds and emerged stronger, not just individually, but together. In the days that followed, Marcus and Leora worked to secure the estate and assist nearby settlements. They shared knowledge, training humans and aliens alike, building alliances that could withstand the war's chaos. Leora taught Marcus alien technology and history, while he shared human strategies and courage. One evening, as they looked out over the jungle from the estate balcony, Marcus reflected on how far they had come. "I never thought inheriting a war estate would feel like hope," he said softly. Leora's gaze met his. "It is hope, Marcus. Hope born of courage, intelligence, and cooperation. You and I, we have the chance to shape the future, not just for ourselves, but for everyone who fights for freedom in this galaxy." He smiled, feeling a sense of purpose he had never known before. "Then we keep going, together." Leora placed a hand on his shoulder, and for a long moment neither spoke. They watched the stars, imagining the worlds beyond, knowing that they had faced the darkness and emerged stronger. The estate was no longer just a place of inheritance. It was a symbol of what humans and aliens could achieve when they worked together. As night fell over Varela 9, the estate hummed quietly with alien energy. Marcus and Leora knew challenges would come again, but they were ready. They were not just heirs or soldiers. They were partners, guardians of a future where courage, intelligence, and cooperation could change the galaxy. And somewhere beyond the jungle, distant warships moved silently, unaware that a human and a remarkable alien woman had forged a bond that could reshape the fate of countless worlds. Marcus tightened his grip on his rifle, glancing at Leora with respect and trust. She gave him a small nod, and together they stepped forward into the future, prepared for whatever the galaxy could throw at them next.